Everyone, welcome back to Sweet Yellow House. We are on part 2 of our making ornaments. This is part 1. If you haven't checked that out, please go do that. And if you don't know and you haven't gone to see my second channel, it will be linked below. Ornament 1 for today are these cute little tart tins that I purchased off of Amazon. I couldn't find any that I was looking for, like thrifting or anything like that, and so I just purchased those. They were fairly cheap. And then I also went and got these little birds from Hobby Lobby. They are ornaments and they are 50% off, so they are a really good deal. I chopped some of these little like foam pieces into little squares to fit in the bottom of those tarts, and I cut a little X in them so that bottom part of the bird would fit in there. These birds actually came with little clips on the bottom of them with springs, and I did remove those so that the birds would fit down in there well. I got some of this green, it's not like moss, it feels more like a haze, kind of stiffer. So I just glued that in there around the bird, and then I trimmed any of the long pieces out. I grabbed some extra little berries and things like that I had laying around that I thought might look cute. That's more Christmassy looking type of stuff, and I glued that next to the bird. I grabbed the clip that I took off of that bird in the beginning, and I'm just gonna hot glue that to the bottom of that tart. I found these frosted little raspberries in my stash and wanted to use those, so I did 5 birds with the little berries and the little pine cones, and then I did 5 of the birds with these frosted raspberries. These came out so cute. I just love them. You could totally paint the little tart pans if you wanted. I just really wanted to kind of have them, kind of reflecting the lights off the Christmas tree, so I left them shiny. The clips allow them to stay on the tree, and they work really well. These are not extra heavy, so they don't drag down the branches or anything like that. Ornament number 2 is actually just some big pieces, extra pieces that I had from some potpourri mix that I bought a couple of years ago. And these pieces I took out because they were just too big for the container that I had the potpourri in. But I decided that I wanted to keep them. So this year I thought, well, I'll make some ornaments out of these, since my tree is kind of going to be more woodland theme type of Christmas theme this year. So I just started out by drilling holes in all of these, and then I got some eye hooks and just screwed that in. I didn't use any of the glue or anything. They just fit really snug in there, so I just screwed them in there and left them. I got some twine to make the hanger and tied it in a knot. These little ones I tried to drill holes in, and they just started kind of disintegrating apart, so I just decided to glue that hanger on. I wanted to kind of fancy these up just a little bit, so I got some glitter, some really chunky glass glitter, and then some regular iridescent glitter, and I used some Lean's tacky glue, watered down just a bit to make it kind of easier to spread, and I just put that glue on the bottom half of these ornaments, and then sprinkled the glitter on top of that glue and let it sit. Once the glue has dried, it will go clear. So then all you're left with is that really shiny, beautiful glitter. So after I let that dry, I decided that I wanted to put some really pretty ribbon on these, and I purchased this kind of caramel color ribbon off of Amazon, and I will link that below. And I just made bows. These are double-sided, so you don't have to tie it in the right way to get it, you know, to look right. So I just tied bows, simple bows with these, and then glued those over the little eye hooks so you didn't see them, and it was as simple as that. I actually thought these came out so good. These have been sitting in a bag around my studio for so long, and I'm just so happy that I was able to figure out a way to use them. Ornament 3 is just some resin birds that I made. I used the IOD bird song mold, and I also used some mica from Mad Micas, and it's called Sparkle Sunshine. It is really, really, really a bright, bright gold. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab a brush and just fill those crevices, those bird crevices, with the mica, and I'm gonna make all of these birds. So I just did the whole mold. I set that aside and got my Texpert epoxy resin. That's a 2-part resin, equal parts, and I poured equal parts in and stirred it up. And when you first stir this together, it's kind of a little bit cloudy, and then it'll go clear at some point, and it's probably takes about maybe 30 seconds for it to do that. Once you clear it out, you don't want to like crazy mixes because you don't want to put a bunch of air bubbles in there. And if you do get some, usually what I do is I'll just tap the glass or the container that I have it in and bring those bubbles to the top. I'm going to add some of that same mica to the resin and stir that in as well. Once I have that all stirred in and where I think I'm happy with it, I'm just going to go ahead and start pouring into the molds with the resin. This resin doesn't take that long to set up. It only takes maybe 4 to 5 hours, but I just went ahead and let it set overnight. The next day I came back and I just popped those birds out of the mold just to see what I ended up with, and they are such a beautiful gold, bright gold. They almost look electric to me. Color, but they're still a little bit too matte for me, so I grabbed my UV resin and my UV lamp and went ahead and did a coat over the birds just to kind of bring out that gold and put some shine to them. So all I did was use a brush and painted this over the top and then stuck it into under the light. I put this on a little piece of silicone mat because resin does not stick to silicone. So once I have that done, I grab my set. These are necklace bails, they're called, and I just used that resin as the glue to stick the bail on the back of that bird. I'm going to use the bail to actually put the ribbon through so that I can hang it. But first I want to kind of dress these up. So I got these little, they're not buttons. I think you use them more for like journaling or something, but they're little holly berries and little poinsettias. And I'm just going to use my hot glue and stick those to the birds where I want them. To me, this is a very basic type of ornament you can do. I think for me, it's all about the details, you know, the colors that you use or the adornments that you put on there can make or break this type of simple ornament. Once I have those all done, I just grab my little red velvet ribbon that I got off Amazon. And again, I will make sure that I link that below and just put it through the bales and tie a knot at the top. And it's simple as that. And I love these. They came out so good, and when they're next to the lights on the tree, they just look so bright and so pretty. Ornament 4 is a little set of frames that I got from, I believe, the Goodwill, and you've seen these. They're all over the place. So what I began to do was just take it apart. They're actually hinged together, and I removed the hinges off of those, removed the glass, and just proceeded to kind of clean everything up. Once I got those apart, I made sure that I put those hinges somewhere safe. And I'm going to remove those staples that held the glass in. Once I have those removed, I grabbed the DIY Carnival Red, and I'm going to paint both of these frames. I did 2 coats on each of these, drying each coat, drying between each coat with my heat gun. I grabbed this caulk. I wouldn't have used this if I had to go back and do it again. This is kind of like a rubbery type of thing, but I just filled those holes and then I let it dry. And using a sander, it came off pretty easy. It kind of like gummed up and came off, so I wasn't too upset about it. But then I went back with that Carnival Red and painted over that place that I sanded. I'm using the frame as a template to cut some of this really thick cardboard out. I'm going to use this as the backing for the frames. And I just cut 2 of those. Like I said, I don't need to double up on this because that cardboard is really thick. So I grabbed some journaling paper, and I am just cutting that to fit the backings, and they are different, so I'm just cutting one of each that fits that backing, and then I'm going to make sure that they fit. At this point, I'm still kind of just, you know, going through it. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do yet, but I know I'm doing something. So I grab my art glitter adhesive, and I'm just going to glue down those papers to the cardboard. Once I have that paper all glued down, I did let them sit under something heavy so that they didn't kind of like, curl up or anything on me. I forgot to press record, but I'm just showing you that I used that art glitter adhesive again and glued in the glass back into those frames. So here I have a little piece of that foam that I used earlier with the bird's nest ornaments, and I'm just gluing those on one side because I wanted to kind of hold up what I'm going to put in there. So I did that for both frames, and again, I'm just doing it on the one side. I grabbed these little Mr. and Mrs. Claus buttons from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just cutting off the button attachment on the back so that when I go to attach my back, I can lay that backing on flat and it's not going to kind of, buckle out. So with those buttons, what I did was just glue those with the hot glue gun to that little foam that I glued down at the bottom. I'm taking a bunch of different types of glitter. I'm going to take some snow, some of that kind of really chunky glitter, and put that in there. And then I'm going to glue on the back of the backing for the frame. So what I'm making here, if you haven't guessed, I'm making like little shaker frames that you can hang on your tree, or you can, the kids might like to make these because they can shake that stuff around and see the glitter shake around and stuff like that. So I decided that I wanted to kind of zhuzh up the frame a little bit. So I grabbed my DIY white wax and I just did a really quick coat over that, and then I'm just wiping it back. I grabbed the Aleene's Glitter Snow, and I'm gonna put some of that around the bottom and the top of the frame, just to look like, snow has fallen. To tell you the truth, it says glitter snow, but I didn't see much glitter in this, so I'm not sure, what. You could always, if you had it, use it and then sprinkle some glitter on over it while it's wet. For the second frame, I grabbed some. They're not buttons, they're just stickers. They're like, 3D stickers. So I just peeled off the sticker part and glued that down to the little foam that I put in there. This is a pretty simple one, since that little gingerbread house fits that whole thing. I put some glitter in there, and then I glued on the back of that and then attached a little hanger. And to decorate the outside of that little frame, I just went ahead and pulled off the Merry Christmas stickers that were also in that set and glued that on the outside. Use some red and white twine to put through those little hangers, and that's that. These are really cute. I just think that the kids would really love these, and they can pick out what they wanted to put on the inside of them. And I like the way that these came out. Ornament 5 is something that, again, like the potpourri big pieces, I've had sitting around forever. And I wanted to use them up. So the ones with this kind of like glitter on them came off of a pick, and I cut those off a couple of years ago. I didn't want to use them. And then these balls, wicker balls, actually came out of the set of potpourri that I used earlier. So I just wanted to darken them up so that they looked all the same color. So I just used the folk art antiquing wax. I grabbed some of these berries that I got from Target. I think they're part of the Hearth and Hand line. Just cut that up, grab some greenery and cut that up, and began to glue some little bundles around these wicker balls. I'm not covering the whole balls. I just want little splashes of that color here and there. Looking at it, I thought I'd add a little bit more. Of course, more is better sometimes. And so I just glued some of this moss around in places. Again, I did not cover everything. I just put it on there sporadically. I bent around the little wire that was sticking out of the top just to make a loop of it instead of cutting it off. And then using that red velvet ribbon again, I just made a bow and attached that to that loop that I made. Since these smaller wicker balls did not have the kind of snowy glitter on there, I decided to put some on there myself so that they matched the other ones and they look like a set. So I just used some of that art glitter adhesive and put that on there and sprinkled some glitter on it and let it dry. For this one, since they did not have the loops, I just actually ran that ribbon under one of those wicker pieces and then strung it up and made a loop at the end. And the bow that I made, I just tied it to the top there. I hope you liked my crafts today, and let me know which ornament was your favorite. I still have one more video in this series, maybe two, because I still have a bunch of ideas. So thank you so much for spending your time with me today. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. It really helps me out and I really do appreciate it. I will be back very soon. I have so many more ideas for Christmas, and I will see ya.